satisfied before you eat, and it helps you to eat less, and it helps with overeating and causes weight loss. Now today we're so excited to share our hack number 2, and today we're talking about the 2 most overlooked things when it comes to weight loss. And if you struggle with weight around the middle, or if you struggle with losing weight in general, you're gonna want to tune in today. Today we are talking about obesogens and inflammation. And if you don't know about them, don't worry. We're going to tell you what they are, how they affect your weight loss, and we're going to give you simple swaps to get rid of them from your life so that you can forever be free of them and they don't have to hinder your weight loss. And we're also going to tell you about a few of our clients and a few stories that we have with their situations, and how what we did with them you can use, and we'll show you the techniques to use it and apply it to your life. All right, so what are these buggers that are totally interfering with weight loss? There's obesogens, and if you haven't heard about them, they've been on researchers' mind for a long time.
Researchers know about this, they've done all the research, but for some reason, the average person doesn't know about them, so we
will. We're breaking the news to you, possibly, if you don't already know. And think about obesogens, Ari, the name says enough.
The word.
Can I give you some obesogens with that tea?
No thanks. No thanks. We just want you to have the green tea, or black or long, like we mentioned yesterday.
Yes.
No obesogens.
No obesogens. So obesogens are actually directly linked to obesity. Surprise, surprise. I mean, that name couldn't be any more clear. And what are they? They are actually toxins that we inadvertently consume. So it's not like we're trying to give me some obesogens. We get them in our diet just from additives and preservatives, or somehow they wind up on the crop that winds up in our food. So they're toxins to our body. And don't worry about them.
I just also want to mention really quickly, they're also in things we don't eat. They're in plastic, that we don't want to eat, but plastics, chemicals, some of the chemicals we put on our face, or like some of the lotions. We don't think that they're in there, but they are. But we're going to focus on the ones that you can immediately get out of your body with food.
Yeah, and they're directly linked with making you fatter, making you hungrier,
slowing your metabolism. This is what the research shows. It has proved this. So we want to get those out.
Yeah, so we will be helping you to do that today, as well as inflammation. And the thing, most of us have heard about inflammation, and actually some inflammation is a good thing. Like when I give Tammy a big...
Or I give Lucia... If you get a bruise.
It's only a good thing when I give Tammy a bruise.
Well, then you want a little inflammation, because that's what's going to help to heal.
It's a normal, healthy thing.
All the blood rushes there. It helps to heal the injury.
But
if it's chronic...
No, let's not even go there yet. Let's just say that that if you have excess weight, or you struggle to lose weight, this is actually a red flag that there's typically chronic inflammation present. On top of that, if you're struggling with weight loss, and you have let's say you have the best diet and you have the best exercise plan, if there's underlying inflammation, it will not allow you to get the results that you want. So that's why we are today going to help you.
We're tackling it. We're tackling it.
And we're going to help you to tackle it. So no more in your body. Say goodbye obesogens, goodbye inflammation.
Bye-bye.
See ya. So let's start by telling you about one of our clients who came to us with this scenario. And we see it a lot nowadays, it's kind of crazy. I have to say, it's kind of crazy.
It's kind of crazy. But the really encouraging thing is when you realize that's what is causing part of your issue, or preventing you from losing weight, it kind of is like an aha moment, and it makes you feel really empowered, like it has for our clients.
Yeah. So this client, she came to us, and clearly you're going to keep saying, oh, you love all your clients. We do. We love all of our clients.
We love our clients.
So she came to us, and she said, I am a yo-yo dieter. First to admit it, no one is better than me at losing 30 pounds and then gaining it back. She's really funny.
She is.
Really funny. And she said when she came to us, so usually when she starts to, she'll get to the top of that 30-pound weight gain, and that's usually when her big clothes starts to feel really tight. She feels
really uncomfortable then.
She feels really uncomfortable.
It's her own message to herself, I'm going back on what I know works for me, my diet plan.
Yeah, it works for her. Let's just do it. So she said, and she was actually planning to reach out to us when she got to her ideal weight that she liked to be at, because she had heard from her friends that, we help people to keep the weight off, and she knew how to take the weight off. She didn't know how to keep it off. But what ended up happening for her was she actually came to us and she said, I don't know what's
She
going
was
on.
at a loss. She
Yeah.
didn't know what to do because this is the first time ever. She always, whenever she would gain the 30 pounds, she knew how to lose them.
Yeah.
Again, she didn't know how to maintain them, but she knew how to lose them. So she went to her go-to to lose the 30 pounds,
Yeah.
and it didn't work. And so she was completely panicked, as you
Yeah.
can imagine. Here she went to the
She
thing
had like
that she
a
knew
pretty,
worked.
a pretty
was like a system
solid
for her.
regimen that she would eat this food, she would do this thing, and so it was regimented, and she would lose the 30 pounds that she was yo-yoing with. And what happened this time when she came to us, she was in a complete panic. She said, you know, it's not working for me. Not only that, like I literally want to quit my job because I'm so embarrassed. These people have seen me fluctuate so much, and now I'm going beyond what they know is the top level. So, and she was really embarrassed, and she was really sad, and she also felt like her body was betraying her because she said, I eat these things, like this always worked for me, and not only is it not working for me, it's actually causing weight gain. So she was freaked out. And so when she came to us, first we made sure like we had her check her thyroid and all that, and all of that was clear. And we had a feeling we knew what was going on. So we said, all right, we took a really, really deep dive into what she was eating, exactly what she was eating. And we saw, should we let's take him through a day of what she was eating. Yeah. So what she was eating, and it was normal. It should have been.
It was a healthy diet in terms of weight loss. In terms of calories, she should have been losing weight.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was calorie restricted, calorie control, not overly too low, but around.
She had breakfast. She was having like a breakfast bar, there's a bar for breakfast.
Uh-huh.
For mid-morning, I think she was having like some kind of like nachos, like a little packaged snack. You know,
It was pre-portioned, so everything was like calorie controlled.
Yeah.
She was very, very used to going to her go-to calorie amount that would just create a weight
easy for
loss.
her on the go. And then her lunch and dinner were pretty much the same. She was going to the grocery store and buying her grocery store prepared her food for her. So it's usually like a chicken and some vegetables, like healthy things, things that should really cause weight loss for her. And then dessert, I think she was having, it was something sugary, but it was portion control.
Yeah, it was small. It was like 100 calories worth of, I want to say like I don't know if it was a York peppermint patty or something.
No, it was definitely, no, not that. It was something much more, I want to say packaged, processed, to be honest. It was much more processed. So when we started looking in it, we started looking at the ingredients that came in her, like chicken and in the vegetables that came at the grocery store and the bar, and we started to see, whoa, there are a lot of chemicals. This is a lot of processed food.
And first of all, we were surprised because we were thinking, why are these chemicals in chicken and vegetables?
Not stuff that if you made that at home, you're like, where would I even think to get that? Where would I get that? I feel like that's something that I'd find at your house, like something like rare.
Stop.
Just kidding. Just kidding. But she does have random things at her house. Like, I just feel like every time I go there, I'm booby trapped and getting hurt somewhere or another. It's ridiculous.
Not with the food.
Not with the food. Okay, that's probably the only safe thing. She's very good about the food. I will admit that. But you are. You're just like a booby trap. I leave there like a broken toe. That's true. Anyway, so this client, we were like, all right, we've seen this before. We said, okay, don't panic. Your body has not betrayed you. And we wanted her to really, really know that because she was feeling so hopeless and helpless. And your body has not betrayed you. In fact, in our opinion, your body is actually really smart. It is telling you what you are doing is not working for you. This is not good for you. And it's not
responding to what she was taking in. Her body, what was happening in her, the fact that her body was not losing weight was a direct response to what she was eating, and that her body was almost rejecting it.
Just telling her, no, we're not letting you lose weight right now. Like, you're creating a problem for us. So what we did instead was we had her swap that breakfast in the morning. So instead of that bar, we knew she needed something easy. So we had her have I think it was a non-fat Greek yogurt, and overnight she would take the frozen blueberries and she'd put it in there. So she would no added sugar, but there's a sweetness, and they would defrost in there, and she'd stir it. It was delicious for her, and she could grab it on the way out the door. To replace her nacho snack, we had her she had that nacho like pre-portioned snack twice a day. We had her have one of the snacks, our pre-meal, the veggie and tea pre-meal. Of course, before dinner we had her have that.
I mean,
that's a given, right? Of course. And then the other thing, the mid-morning snack. So she really wanted something snacky. So we had her have this organic popcorn. It was just popcorn and was pre-portioned, like we had a pre-portioned, and olive oil.
Avocado oil.
Avocado oil.
It was just the one that was prepared with.
Yeah, so no chemicals coming from the outside. And
it was organic as well.
Yeah, and for her lunches and for dinners, the main thing that we did there was really, we just wanted those chemicals out, you know? So we had her, and she was happy to do it. She would just take fish or chicken, she'd throw it in her little toaster oven with some vegetables, she'd spritz a little olive oil, some spices on top, and she would have that. And the dessert. What did she have for dessert? We swapped the dessert. She blended fruits for the dessert.
Yeah, she made it almost like a sorbet type thing.
It was frozen.
She took a frozen.
One of our recipes from our site.
Right. It was frozen fruit that she like blended into nice sorbet, so it was a really nice texture. So it wasn't just like blended warm fruit. It was
and so let's cut to the chase. So she did all that, and at the end of the first week, she had lost 6 pounds. Now this is a person that had been gaining weight, eating almost the exact same things. And one of the things that happened was she lost the inflammation. Inflammation holds water with it, and it makes you feel puffy, and you feel like it's fat, but some of it is water, and it's in your fat stores. And so we're going to tell you a little bit about that. So now that you know that scenario, we just wanted to like set the scene for you, so you know what the crime
what's
scene
going
is
on
like behind the scenes,
behind inflammation.
Yeah, behind inflammation. So let's just go back to inflammation, so you can understand what's happening a little bit, and obesogen, so why this was happening in her body. So inflammation, like we said, the acute inflammation is good. Like when I give Tammy the heave-ho and she gets
I get a bruise, it's actually
and really what's happening is her body is just like it's bringing proteins in, antibodies to fight the damage and cause swelling and to protect the body.
And that's why a bruise is formed. It's part of the inflammation. It's part of the inflammation and the healing process.
And the swelling is really like you bringing water to those tissues. But what happens with chronic inflammation, which happens from a poor diet, it happens from stress, from alcohol, from cigarette smoke. Our body can only take so much, and chronically, it's really associated with diabetes, heart disease, obesity.
I mean, actually, all disease relates back to inflammation.
Yeah, so
every kind of
keeping
disease
inflammation low is just ideal for everything. Even if you aren't trying to lose weight, you want to lower inflammation. So, in the case of weight gain, what is happening?
Why would she shed so much weight? Because 6 pounds sounds like a lot to lose in a week, especially some of it's body fat, but some of it's water.
And there's many things that happen, but I know you're about to jump to one. Don't do it.
I wasn't. I was just going to say we have had clients who have shed more than 6 pounds in the first week, and it's a lot of it's water. Some of it's fat too, but a lot of it's water.
Yeah,
and these kind of situations,
it's from their fat stores, and we'll explain that in a second. So. There's many things that happen with inflammation, but in terms of your weight, there's 2 really big things. One is that this inflammation for your body is like a burden.
So I think she's looking at me like I'm the burden.
She is. She's like a burden. Okay, she's like a burden. But I love you. I love you too. But all right, she's like burden. It's like a burden. So it's like, God, it's like draining your energy. Like you've got this burden you've got to deal with. So like you can't have a speedy metabolism. You can't be just things cannot be functioning at their peak.
Your body can't even absorb nutrients the way it should or optimally work because everything's being drained.
Right. So your metabolism is being drained, and at the same time, your body is sensing this threat. And when your body's threat, our bodies, you probably have heard this a million times, are very smart. The last thing we want to do is start shedding body fat. Our bodies have been programmed that when we're threatened, we hold on to body fat. So we've got this threat of inflammation chronically coming. It's making us hold on to body fat, and it's also on top. It's messing our metabolism. But in terms of what's happening with water and weight gain, there are 2 things that are happening. It's just causing us to have these increase in hormones, histamine and cortisol. So histamine, it just over the short term, it causes water retention.
And it's onto water, histamine.
Yeah, so you're gaining water weight. But on top of that, cortisol. And remember how we told you in the beginning here that if you struggle with belly fat, and that's extra weight around the middle, cortisol is a really huge piece of that puzzle, and because it stores cortisol. It's this hormone from stress. It stores fat around the belly.
It stores fat everywhere, but especially around the midsection.
Yeah.
And chronically, when you have stress, it goes up, up, up. Cortisol just continues to rise, and lack of sleep too. Cortisol.
And then if you think about all the other inflammation things that cause the inflammation, the poor diet, and then when we're stressed, we tend to go for
a poor diet.
And then let's just bring in those obesogens. Someone's got to do it, so it might as well be me, because Tammy likes to make me the bad guy all the time. So obesogens.
You can see that's not the case. My house is booby trapped, so she breaks her toes.
Really? Okay, so Obesogens. Now, they are part of this picture as well, because what happens when we gain with the water weight and the weight is obesogens, they are those toxins. Remember, they get into our body. We don't mean for them to, but they do. And our bodies are honestly brilliant. They're really good at like getting rid of them, keeping them to a minimum. But I want you to think of this. Like, think of your body like a bucket. And what we all have our bucket, you know, and so for some people, the obesogens are going to overflow sooner. But we have a bucket, and you put in there stress, and you put in poor eating, and you put some more obesogens and some inflammation. And for some people, their bucket can be really, you know, they can get rid of that inflammation. But if their bucket gets overflow, the body's normal ways of getting rid of those obesogens, we have normal things like, let's say, even eating fiber is a really good way to help, because it helps to flush out that, helps to flush out all of those the toxins and obesogens. But if you're constipated, it actually gets absorbed into the system. I'm sorry, there's a phone call. How rude.
It's your phone.
I shut it off. I'm sorry. It's so rude. So anyway, that bucket starts to overflow. We have the constipation, and that can cause an overload. And ultimately, when the bucket overflows and the body can't get rid of the toxins in its normal way, it gives the load to the liver. And the liver says, like, okay, that's enough. I can't handle all this. I'm going to give it to the lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system says, you know what? Let's keep those obesogens out of our blood supply. Let's just put it into our fat stores, because that's like shuttled away into a fat cell. And with those obesogens goes water as well. And so what happens is we get fat. And it's not just like fat, it's also like toxic water. So it's not actually even fat, but it's our fat cells getting bigger and holding water. So when you release this inflammation and the obesogens, that first week, what's happening is your body is flushing out a lot of that
toxins. But it's fat. When you flush fat, you flush the toxins.
Yeah. And so what happens, that's why if you've ever heard of someone feeling they got sick when they first lose a lot of weight, sometimes that's what's happening. But regardless of that, there are simple swaps that you can make to lower inflammation, to get rid of those obesogens and lose the weight. And this is what's pretty incredible about these obesogens. With our clients, we use a very specific protocol based on what they are eating, and what we can see exactly what's inflaming them, so we can go in there. But without doing that and knowing your specific needs, we can still, what we're going to do today is give you simple swaps. So what we're giving you are ways to reduce obesogens, reduce inflammation, but also with these swaps, we're going to make sure that even if it weren't involved in obesogens and inflammation, you would still lose weight, because these are weight loss swaps. You ready? Let's do it! Woo! So one of the things that can cause the most inflammation in the body, is probably no surprise here, is sugar. And as girls that happen to have quite a sweet tooth, we've been working for years to battle our sweet tooth with things that are other than sugar. And so we have a lot of tips to help you with today for that. So if you want to lower inflammation, one of the other great things that you can do is you can actually add things that are anti-inflammatory to fight inflammation. And one of the best ways to cut out sugar is so cut out that inflammation with something that's anti-inflammatory and making food taste great. Now, one of these things is cinnamon.
And we recommend Ceylon cinnamon.
It's spelled C-E-Y-L-O-N.
Now, tongue slipper, that's what I used to practice for spelling tests.
Yeah,
my mom
would
quiz
us.
like, don't blurt it.
Okay.
Ready? C-E-Y-L-O-N.
Oh, we got it.
So
So yeah, that's how we did. We always practice for it. But anyway, the reason you want that cinnamon is because the other one, which is much more common, it's cassia. It can, it's not, over time, it's not good for you. And that's the most common one. So look for the Ceylon. It's Frontier brand has that one, but
Simply Organic does too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a new one, I think. I got it. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. We love that brand. So that's good to know. And what you can do is use that cinnamon as a replacement for sugar, or at least really cut back on the sugar. So you can put that cinnamon in your coffee. We have a lot of clients that do this and love this.
Oatmeal.
Yeah.
Oatmeal's a great one because people are already doing it anyway, and you can add some apples, which also naturally sweeten without added sugar.
Yeah, and the thing too, remember we used to always put it on sweet potatoes, which would bring out their
amazing.
natural sweetness.
It made it taste like a sweet potato pie.
Yeah.
Pumpkin. We used to eat pumpkin with the cinnamon in
Yeah,
there.
so cinnamon can really add a lot. Think about anything where there's an added sugar, like even yogurt, get rid of that. You can put some berries in there too. And but think of anywhere where you'd add sugar and try replacing it with some cinnamon. Just a sprinkle, or cut back on a lot of the sugar and use cinnamon. That's a great way to go. And speaking of berries, they are the ultimate anti-inflammatory food. So if you can swap some of your sweet treats for berries, this will take an adjustment. But we have some recipes on our site, nutritiontwins.com. You can look up we have some frozen yogurt recipes where we basically.
There's a great strawberry and lemon one that's basically it's blending
mint
the fruit,
too, right?
Oh yeah, with a mint, right?
Yeah, it's blending the fruit, but it's making like the sorbet dessert
Because of the frozen texture, makes it amazing. Like we had our client do that in the first example we showed.
Yes, and with her, the thing is too, like a bowl of ice cream is inflammatory. It's going to be about 200 to 300 calories at least, whereas this will be 40 calories. It's anti-inflammatory, so you're fighting the obesogens, you're fighting the inflammation, and it really tastes amazing. You just blend it. It's really easy. It's very easy. And then you just can keep it in the freezer. So that is a great way, like a great dessert substitution.
Another dessert substitution that we love, that our clients love, is taking a fruit, and it can be seasonal fruit, like so right now apples and pears are in season, cutting them up into small little pieces. This is one of her favorites. She likes to do it before my daughters come over sometimes, and they're like, it smells so good in here. So, and then just a little water on the plate after you cut up the apple or the pear into small pieces. Lots of cinnamon.
Yeah, lots of cinnamon. Like when you think you've put enough cinnamon on, don't stop.
More.
Yeah, like just spin it around, and it's going to take a little trial and error. You can look on our site. We have something called Comfort Food Reinvented Apple Pie, or Apple Pie Reinvented Comfort Food. I keep it actually in the refrigerator for when I have a sweet tooth. A lot of cinnamon. It is honestly so good. It's going to take a little practice to get like the right amount of water with your microwave. It takes 5 minutes to make it. I keep it around my house just for when I get a sweet tooth.
Pears are delicious, and you can do it with pears. You can just slice the pear in half and then sprinkle it all over the pear, or you can do the little pieces of the pear again. Amazing.
Yeah, and this honestly, it's like, this was a lifesaver for me. The other lifesaver too, actually, I do it a lot. I keep the frozen, I let a banana get really overripe. And
where it looks like it's almost going bad.
Like brown spots. You want brown spots.
Riley, my daughter, if you're watching this is why you do not throw out the banana you threw out today. This is what I was telling you.
Yeah, this is the best
brown
time.
spots.
Then you cut it into slices. You lay it flat in the freezer.
Love you, Riley.
You're the worst.
Love you, Summer.
Yes, that's better. Her 2 daughters. And you lay it flat in the freezer bag. And what happens is then when I get a sweet tooth, I'll just like grab one out of the freezer. But there has to be that overripe thing, or else it's not so sweet. But it's good. It's refreshing. And that's something about the frozen fruit too. I also keep Trader Joe's organic blueberries. The normal size. They also have the wild ones. Those are really good too. But these,
not quite as sweet.
Yeah,
they're really
good.
good.
When I get a sweet tooth too, I'll just, for dessert sometimes, take that out and let it thaw, and just a little bit, and it's really so good and refreshing. And some people put cinnamon on that. If you want to do that, that's a great thing to do as well.
Another one with the Trader Joe's.
And then yogurt, that's a good one.
Yes, the organic mango. We do it. My daughters do it sometimes for dessert. They take the organic frozen mango, blend it, and it makes, again, the texture is so creamy and delicious, and it's so sweet, especially when it's ripe. Usually from Trader Joe's, it's pretty good and really ripe.
Yeah. So there are some ways to reduce inflammation with the sugar. And like we said, even though we have a protocol that's very specific for our clients, and we can go in there and see exactly what foods are causing inflammation, just by causing less inflammation and reducing some of the obesogens, because some ice creams and some desserts, they have those obesogens too, the additives. Just by doing that, even if you're not affected totally by obesogens and inflammation right now, you're taking away some of that stuff in that bucket. So you're making your bucket more available so that your body can work better, your metabolism can work better, and you have more wiggle room in there before it overflows and really causes some inflammation and damage, right? Okay, so now we've got the sugar.
Now let's move on to salt. And for those of you who know us, our second book was about salt, and it was called The Secret to Skinny: How Salt Makes You Fat. But this was even not including all of the obesogens, everything like that. This was even before some of that research was done.
Yeah.
And that salt, again, makes you hungrier, makes you thirstier, And so it creates this cycle of overeating and over drinking.
Right, and we knew it caused your fat stores to
right, in our videos we did share that research.
But we didn't know about obesogens then. And it's like an obesogen. Holy moly, I'm so
now she got someone at the door. You told me no one ever comes to my door.
Okay, ridiculous. I'm so sorry. Okay, so moving on, the salt. There's some amazing ways that you can reduce the salt and you will instantly lose bloat, because even if it's not from inflammation, we swell when we hold on to salt. So, but the inflammation, it does increase inflammation as well. And these swaps that we're about to tell you also will cause weight loss, even if inflammation wasn't included, if obesogens weren't included.
Do you want me to get that?
No. Okay, sorry. So first of all, one of the best ways that you can reduce salt is with lemon. And we are obsessed with lemon. You will love it too.
It's a game changer. You know how we like to talk about game changers? This is another one. Lemon is amazing. Anything that you put salt on, or that you're used to putting salt on in your meals, squeeze some lemon on there. And it's one of the tricks that the best chefs use when they, instead of putting salt on there, is they'll put lemon, because it does something with your taste buds where it really is a substitute for salt. So we really encourage you to try it. It's awesome. Awesome.
So what you can do when we're talking about fish, so on any of your remember how we talked about that client in the beginning, how she lost that 6 pounds right away from just removing additives. So on packaged foods, one of the things that you'll find is like sauces, creamy sauces, salad dressings, they all do have a lot of additives, and many of them are likely obesogens or raising inflammation. So if you can replace some of those with lemon, so let's say you put lemon on your chicken, lemon on your vegetables, this is amazing. And spices as well. So lemons are anti-inflammatory, and spices, so any spice you like is anti-inflammatory. So not only are you getting rid of these like high-calorie sauces that are full of obesogens and inflammation causing ingredients, you're getting anti-inflammatory ingredients in there. And we have a recipe on our site that you can use as amazing sauce, amazing salad dressing. It's called the creamy avocado dressing. It's 25 calories per serving. So we're talking about like cutting out hundreds of calories from other dressings. We're cutting out the obesogens, we're cutting out the inflammation, and we're giving you anti-inflammatory ingredients. So there's going to be avocado, there's lemon, there's apple cider vinegar in there, and some spices.
And so if you have friends following the keto diet, that recipe for some reason went gangbusters on Pinterest, because it's actually keto friendly and it tastes amazing. But it's just great in every single way for fighting inflammation.
Yeah, and so that's a really good, if you can think about cutting out sauces from a weight loss perspective and just from this inflammation and obesogen perspective, and replacing it with different ones that are low calorie and don't have ingredients like that, like our avocado sauce, that will be a great, amazing change. Also, when it comes to the salty snacks, those processed snacks, they usually have a lot of other additives in them that aren't good for the body. One of our recent favorite things are those seaweed snacks. Have you ever had those?
They are great. And Trader Joe's, we're like an ad for Trader Joe's today.
Oh my God.
Trader Joe's sells them, but we actually love the gimme ones too.
Yeah.
And they have teriyaki flavored, but they're great because they're so low in sodium, but they really taste really salty.
Yeah, they taste great. And so if you have a salt tooth, that's a great way to do it. And if you want to, what we have our clients do, like instead of putting croutons on a salad or something, maybe sprinkle some of that on top. You get that salty flavor. It adds a little zest to the meal. Any of your meals on top of a soup, it's great. So try for those.
And they're also a great snack in general, just if you want a snack. And some of us don't get enough iodine, so it's a great way to get iodine.
Yeah, for thyroid, which thyroid is very important in metabolism as well. So that's a great one.
With our first client, remember we said we checked her thyroid first, so the iodine would help keep that healthy.
Yeah,
from the seaweed.
Exactly. So, was there something else with salt? I felt like we. Snacks. Another snack. So, and this is salt as well as refined foods, like the processed white foods, they cause inflammation. And let's face it, most of us overeat them anyway. So
we're talking about white bread, pasta,
even pretzels. Yeah. All of those we overeat, and they're causing weight gain, they're causing inflammation. So it's like a double
water
whammy.
retention.
They're hitting us from every angle. Yeah. So some easy swaps to do for that. I mean, let's go back to, if we were talking about pasta, there's spaghetti squash, there's even whole wheat pasta would be better. But what was that point about what? I don't remember. I'll come back to it. What good is a twin if she's just not
not
gonna help
reading her
you out?
mind. I
She's
know.
supposed to be doing that.
I have my own things to say, and I know, Frank, you said, what about focus? We're going to come back to this in 1 second, but focus on omega-3s to reduce inflammation.
Yeah,
absolutely.
awesome.
Great
Awesome.
call.
And
all
that
the time.
was exactly, that's incredible. And that's why with that client, we had her put fish in the toaster oven sometimes, not just chicken.
In a bake, not just toasted. Like,
well, no, in the toaster, because that was for her lifestyle. She had a toaster oven
right.
as
But
fast.
it was baking.
We just had her bake it in the toaster oven. Yeah,
yeah.
because it's easy for her lifestyle. She just threw it in the toaster. It was
I wanted
simple,
to make sure they meant that you run fish on toast and pop, and then the fish comes out.
No. So yes, so that is a great point. So anti-inflammatory foods are key. So if you can replace this inflammation-causing foods with anti-inflammatory foods, that is brilliant. So,
And that was one of our next ones. Also, was instead of I like the fireworks. Instead of the processed meats are a real drain on your body system, and they actually are obesogens. They're actually carcinogenic too when it comes
and
to
full of salt as well.
Yeah.
So anytime you can swap those out would be amazing.
And then that's a great place to replace them with the seafood. Or
I remember my point.
Fish.
I remember. Yeah. Thanks. She had faith in me. So the pretzels. It's one of those. Okay, so for snack foods that are high in salt, pretzels are so surprising. They are one tricky bugger. I can tell you the amount of clients that came to us that pretzels were really a huge piece of their weight gain. It is unreal. Well, first of all, you don't realize, you think it's a healthy snack, but they're very high in sodium, and they're very high. They're refined white flour, and they're very easy to overeat. So that combination, if you can swap pretzels, they're not as healthy as they seem. So if you can swap it for even like the popcorn that we talked about initially,
right. And that's a great
popcorn.
one to add cinnamon to, is the popcorn as well. Popcorn is great with cinnamon, and again, you're getting the anti-inflammatory properties of the cinnamon. So,
yeah, so that is a great one. So good.
If you do your own air pop, you don't even need any salt at all. You could just do the cinnamon.
Yeah, amazing.
And Alyssa, that's great. Shirataki noodles, right? That's a great swap for the pasta.
Exactly. Great call. So, and then there's the spiralized noodles nowadays too for the pasta.
The zucchini.
So
you can do your own. There's spiralizers. You can do your own.
Yeah. So those, like, any way that you can cut back on that refined flour, that's causing inflammation. The sugar's causing inflammation. The salt's causing inflammation. The processed meat's causing inflammation. And swap it for those anti-inflammatory foods. You're doing your body so much good, and it's going to be a huge help in the weight loss for many reasons. You'll be cutting calories. You'll be reducing the obesogens and inflammation.
So there you have it.
Yeah. Wait, do you want to tell them about one more client?
Yes, I do. And this client came to us, I think it was about 3 years ago, but she was a stay-at-home mom, and she we loved her, but she tugged at her heartstrings because she said she would eat and she would just felt herself gaining weight, and she'd go to drop her kids off at school, and she said it got to a heartbreaking moment for her when she could tell her kids were embarrassed by her, and she's like, by her weight gain, and she just was feeling terrible about herself. And so we looked at her diet, and like that first client that we mentioned, it was similar in that she was having a lot of packaged foods. We looked at her diet, it didn't seem like she was overeating that much, but she was gaining weight. And when we looked at the calorie amount, we're like, she shouldn't, she was trying to exercise, she'd go for walks in her neighborhood, and maybe she shouldn't have been losing weight, but the fact that she was gaining weight and at the rapid weight she was like, okay, something's going on here. Mm-hmm. So again, we looked at her diet. It was all of those packaged foods, a lot of them. And her meals, she cooked for her kids always, but she was nervous about what they were eating. So she was eating, packaged meals, the frozen meals, calorie controlled ones, like the different brand names, that you can think of that have the lean cuisine or whatever they were. I don't know if that's the one it was, but at the time they were all the packaged meals that we looked at them, and sure enough, preservatives, additives. Her snacks were like little bags of things that were packaged.
Portion controlled,
but like Chips Ahoy or like, other things that were just adding up. And then probably, you got to think about the stress load that she had of being so stressed out about dropping her kids off at school. Her bucket was full and overflowing. Yeah. So what we did was we looked at her diet and we said, you know what? We know exactly what's going on here. So for her, again, it was about getting it was making these fresh food swaps. So immediately, like her dinner, she just went to it because it was easy, it was a go-to. We let her at the time, she wanted to do Fresh Direct. And Fresh Direct has these meals that you can kind of put together, but she was able to pick out the ingredients, and she could see that they give you calorie amounts there, and it was portion controlled. So it'd be like fresh salmon, steamed vegetables. So all of these things that she was able to do with her dinner, instead of all the additives and preservatives, she was getting fresh foods. Her snacks, again, we just had her, of course, the veggie pre-meal and
the tea and veggie pre-meal.
She, of course, did, of course. And then for breakfast, she was one that she just wanted to have. She wanted to make her own smoothie, so we let her put some Greek yogurt in there, some fresh fruit, and that was great because before that, a lot of the packaged items again and the processed food she was buying, I think originally.
Cereals? Was it cereals?
Beforehand, it was the cereal. Before she was having cereal, but we didn't have her do the cereal.
We didn't have her do it.
No, okay. No, I thought we were going to healthy with cereal. There are oatmeal's a great cereal, and there's probably a couple.
No, there definitely are. We're not a fan of the boxed cereals for the most part.
Right, because I mean, I think it was probably when she was having.
They're much higher sodium than you might think.
Yeah, I think it might have been something like Special K, which is a big tricky one because it's all refined flour.
It's high in sodium.
Yeah, so we just moved her away from that, and she said like her go-to, it would be easy and fun for her to have a smoothie, and she made a healthy one with the Greek yogurt, the fruit, and some mint and some herbs in there, I believe, as well. And then her snacks, again, she was having the packaged Chips Ahoy, and then also packaged, I think they were the Doritos, and so we just had her move away from the packaged stuff and have, you know, fresh. She wanted to do, she really liked cheese, and we said, you know what, as long as you're having, we wanted her to go organic just because her body was in overdrive and overload. So she was taking the organic string cheese because it was portion controlled, and instead of putting it on like the saltine that she originally wanted to when she asked, we had her do it on sliced cucumbers, sliced tomato. She actually turned out to like it, and she made little sandwiches of it.
Sometimes with low-fat cottage cheese on it, and actually this is one of the snacks we're going to tell you because snacks gets people into a lot of trouble. A snack that a lot of our clients love are the one that, or this one, it's a sliced cucumbers and then low-fat cottage cheese, organic if you can for right now while you're trying to lower those obesogens.
This particular client was not sure she could control the cheese, so that's why we had to do the string cheese where she could either just peel it off or cut into small pieces.
Yeah, and then tomato on it, and it's great, and she makes little sandwiches, and it's just a great, like, crunchy but salty kind of snack, you know. Mm-hmm. And also, of course, a great snack is the Greek yogurt and frozen blueberries in there, or something like to let it defrost a little bit in there and get that sweetness in.
Anyhow, so after the first week and a half, she had lost 11 pounds. And she was like our height. We like to be tall, but we're not that tall. We're only like 5'2". So for someone our height to lose 5'2" on a good day, to lose 11 pounds in a week and a half was amazing.
It was incredible.
Was jumping through the roof. Her clothes already felt a lot looser. A lot of it admittedly was that water weight from her toxic overload, but she had like about a 5-pound net loss. So 6 pounds from water, and then 5-pound loss, and she continued to lose. And about after that, I think the next week after that, she was down about 4 pounds, and then after that, it was about 2 pounds per week until.
And
she
what we were telling you
met her
about
goal.
both of these clients, the stories that we told you, is that both of them had felt like they're at this point where their lives were totally out of control, and especially the first one, like she felt like her body totally betrayed her, and she felt so like she felt at such a loss, and like, she actually used the word when she came to us. She felt hopeless because her normal tricks for losing weight that always worked for her didn't work, and she just felt like her body was just like done with her, not letting her do stuff. That the control and the empowered feeling that they felt, and the relief of just their body responding and knowing that their body was actually being smart the first time and protecting them and showing them that what they were doing was not working, and then the freedom that they got. And then we taught them also how to like continue this lifestyle, of course, and to make more swaps in for that, you know, not always follow that same diet, that the relief and confidence they had, and they continue to lose weight, and both of them have stayed at their goal weight, which has been amazing for them. And for them, they just they both have told us many times that it's the freedom and just like the trust of the body and the relief just to know like I can eat what I want. I'm not going to worry about these other things, and my body is in my control and I own it, you know, and it's not out of my control. And these things that felt so foreign and out of control, like now they have a grasp on it. It's like totally empowering for them.
And a huge confidence booster. So that's really something that's life-changing when you can suddenly feel like, okay, I can trust my body. Like this is going to work for me, and it is working for me. It's completely life-changing. And it's so funny because I see Alyssa writes here, 11 pounds, I'm so jealous. I mean, you are down how many pounds?
Like 53?
And slow and steady wins the race because you are incredible.
Amazing. You are awesome. And I bet there are no obesogens or inflammation causing foods in your diet. You are awesome and rocking it. So keep it up.
Keep it up.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You.
Yeah. We do love you. So we love you guys for joining us today. Thank you so much. We will see you tomorrow with day 3 of 3 easy weight loss hacks that you have not tried. We are sharing a key mindset that shifted things for us personally and that will shift things for you and really help with sealing the weight loss deal. So we can't wait to see you then. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Bye.
Bye.